Namaste, Pranam, Gita Dhyana. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva Manusantadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavatveshinim. O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Partha, the ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O Goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters. O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Now, Krishna Vandana. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanura Mardanam Devakim Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. O son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. And now today we take up reading of Shloka number 17, the 17th verse of the 3rd Adhyaya, Karma Yoga of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. In the 16th verse that we read, Sri Krishna has categorically told that a person who doesn't fit into this cycle of karma, which has originated from the Brahman itself. Brahman created the Vedas. The Vedas, in Vedas is this formation of karma. And from karma, the yajna. And all that cycle that Sri Krishna had explained in the previous verses. So Sri Krishna says, he who does not follow, who does not fit into this wheel of karma, and contrarily, forget about not getting involved in this cycle of karma, the wheel of karma. Rather, he gets into the sinful activities and he is bent upon rejoicing in the pleasures of the senses. For him, verily the life is in vain. There is no use, because the ultimate objective of the life, for this human form has been given to this Jivatman, is to know the Paramatman, remain in the self. And if that is not happening, that life is unfortunately in vain. On the contrary, again Sri Krishna tells, what happens to the one who is always merged in the Atman? So, that is what Sri Krishna is going to tell us in this verse number 17, the Shloka, 17th Shloka. Tvātma-ratir syād ātma-tṛiptaśh mānavaḥ ātmanyeva santuṣhṭas tasya kāryaṁ na vidyate. Sri Krishna says, one, yaha, who, two, but, ātma-ratir eva, who rejoices in the Atma only, ātma-ratir, rejoices in the self alone, in the Atman alone. Syād, maybe, ātma-tṛiptaśh mānavaḥ, and that man who is also ātma-tṛiptaśh, that is satisfied in the self. Tripta is satisfied. Satisfied where? Satisfied in the self. One who rejoices in the self, who rejoices meditating on the self, being one with the self, and also he gets satisfaction He is always satisfied, merging in the self, thinking about the self. ātmanyeva santuṣhṭas, and also not only just rejoicing the self or being satisfied in the self, also santuṣhṭas, contented in the self. ātmanyeva santuṣhṭas. He is santuṣhṭas, contented, feeling blessed, feeling happy, feeling so contented, remaining in the self. Tasya kāryaṁ na vidyate. Only that kind of man, that kind of a person, for him, kāryaṁ na vidyate. There is no need of any obligatory duty, because he has merged himself with the self, with the Paramatman, with the Atman. And Atman is the door to the Paramatman. So there is no more need of any karma. That person can get away with doing any karma. For him, the obligatory duties, they just end. There is no need. But the man who rejoices in the self, is satisfied with the self, and is centered in the self, is ever contented in the self, is ever santuṣhṭa in the self. For him, verily, there is no obligatory duty. Now, first of all, why we get into this rigmarole of this, the wheel of action? Our mind makes us get into action. Now, between the Brahman and the Prakriti, Prakriti, after all, is just a projection of the Brahma with the three gunas of sattva, rajas, tamas, which gets this Prakriti into action. It is only in the phase of Prakriti that the action comes. The procreation, preservation, destruction. Creation, preservation, destruction. These three aspects, these are akin to Prakriti. And whosoever comes in this gamut of Prakriti gets involved in the cycle of creation, preservation, destruction. And that's how the karma starts. Because of the three gunas associated, three gunas of sattva, rajas, tamas, which are associated with the Prakriti, the miracle of action, the miracle of karma starts. Nobody can avoid it. Only when the mind completely controls the senses from getting into the act of enjoying the sense objects, only then that cycle can be broken. That Sri Krishna has already told us earlier, that when mind controlling the senses just prevents those senses to get entangled by the sense objects from the viewpoint of enjoying them, from the viewpoint of seeking pleasures from the sense objects, only then can one get salvation. Because then the mind makes the senses look at the sense objects from the divine perspective. They are no more the sense objects for enjoyment or pleasure alone. Those same sense objects, they become an object of attaining divinity. The entire outlook changes. There is a paradigm shift from enjoying the sense objects to perceiving the divinity in the sense objects. And when mind starts behaving like this, then it gets centered only in the self. And then comes that moment of bliss where one is satisfied in the self. One rejoices the self. One enjoys the self. One gets satisfied in the self. And one feels contented being in the self. There is no need to go outward to those sense objects from enjoyment perspective. Then it is verily me and my mother. It is verily a devotee and the Lord. It is verily the servant and the master. And then there is no more karma. There is no need for any obligatory duties of performing the actions like puja, arti, sandhya, and getting all those the obligatory duties. Getting involved in those obligatory duties. When the mind revolves back on the self or the Atman, its activities automatically diminish. It is the mind which is making us getting into this, the circle of activities. The last of all of its activities is to get established in Atman. And when the mind gets established in the Atman, that's it. There is no more outgoing tendency for the mind. Then it is only inward, looking inward, enjoying inward, being contented in being inward, into the self. The river is active until it reaches the ocean. On merging in it, its function is over. The example that Swami Chidbhavananda ji has given. Till the time the river merges in the sea, in the ocean. And this example Sri Ramakrishna had also told us earlier while reading one of the passages in the Bhagavad Gita, that the river is very active. It makes a lot of noise. There is rumbling and great noise till the time it is entering the ocean. Once the river enters the ocean, there is nothing but calm and peace. Then there is no more that turbulent sound, noise that it makes while merging. It is only till the point that it merges in the ocean. It is only till the point that the mind gets merged with the Atman. It creates hell of a lot of, halla gulla. It jumps up and down. It makes us jump up and down, the mind. It makes us get into so many activities. But when the mind merges in the self, there is nothing else, no activities. There is only bliss and serenity. Only the bliss and serenity prevail when the mind gets merged in the Atman. Bliss is the characteristic of Atman. That mind which is set in the self is therefore ever satisfied, ever blissful, and ever pacified. It is totally at peace. It is totally in bliss. There is no more, ups and downs. There is no more the experiences of all those opposite dualities of pleasure and pain, of joy and sadness, of happiness and unhappiness. There is nothing, no dual emotions, no dual kind of experiences. The only peace and peace and peace, shanti, shanti, shanti. That's what prevail. The finale of all activities is for the mind to rest in the Atman. All beings are tending towards this goal consciously or unconsciously, and that is what is happening. Whether we are doing it with our conscious efforts or unconsciously, we are all heading towards it. It is just a matter of time that the mind will get focused on the Atman, and then it is the blissful moment of realizing the self. Then it is that blissful moment of getting contented being in the self, and it is that blissful moment of enjoying the self. Now, what Sri Ramakrishna says on this particular meaning of the shloka. The mind and the hour hand in a clock are interrelated. The mind and the Atman, they are always interrelated. though they appear separate, they get united also hourly. Every hour, the minute hand and the hour hand, they have to come at one position. It always happens, whether it is 12 noon, or it is 5 past 1, or it is 10 past 2, or it is 3 and quarters. There is a position that every hour, the minute hand and the hour hand, they will come together. They will, as if they have merged. And Sri Ramakrishna says, in the same way, the Jivatman and the Paramatman, although they seem separate, a stage comes in everyone's life that in time they will get united. No one can, escape from that blissful moment. Everyone has to enjoy that blissful moment. It is just a matter of time. For some, that time will come at 12 noon. For some, that time will come at 5 past 1. For some, that time may come at 10 past 2. But the time has to come. That moment of everlasting bliss is going to come in everyone's life. That is what Krishna says. And here in this Shloka, Krishna says, once the person gets into this habit of being satisfied in the self, being contented in the self, that moment of bliss has come. And then that person, for him, all the obligatory duties, they cease to exist. There is no need for them. He is karma mukta. He is not karma bandha then. He is not bound by the karma. He is karma mukta. And only for such people, they can escape from this cycle of karma, from this wheel of karma which Brahman has created. So, that is Sri Krishna's teaching to us in the 17th shloka. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swami.